Hi, I'm Linda Ty, and welcome to our program, Path to Peace. I'm here today with two very special women, very excited about what they're doing, Debbie Owen and Wendy Williams. Debbie is a parent coach, and Wendy is a marriage educator. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. So I am Debbie Owen, and I am a certified parent and life coach. And prior to becoming a coach, I spent many years as a public school teacher as well. So I've got a lot of experience dealing with kids in all variety of circumstances. And my husband and I have raised 3 children into young adulthood successfully. So that's always a great thing also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Debbie, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So parent coach is something that's relatively new. I'm not sure exactly what the history is, but there are not that many people who really know what a parent coach is. Because I tell people and they say, oh, tell me more. So the idea behind it is if your kid has a problem in school, they'll go see the school counselor or there are school psychologists now as well. And if somebody in your family is really kind of suffering with a mental health issue or is some sort of crisis mode, really, kind of pretty far along on the process, they'll go see a therapist. So I'm not a therapist. I'm not I don't have a doctorate or anything like that, but I do have a certification as a coach. And so I see a parent coach, as somewhere in the middle between that school psychologist or the school counselor and the therapist role. And the parent coach, the object is to coach the parents in order to help them help their kids. Now, I could definitely work with kids too, but my primary goal is to empower parents, because they're the ones who know their kid the best, and the object is to give them the skills and the tools that honestly no one's taught us, right? I mean, kids don't come with manuals.
Yeah.
No one's taken a parenting class, or very few people have. So my role is to educate the parents in how to deal with these kids. And I'm mostly focusing on parents with teenagers, but I can certainly help parents with younger children as well. But if they've got a teen and a 9 or 10-year-old as well, I can help them in those situations too. But if you've got a teenager living in your home, you don't always know who this person is. They're kind of like this alien being, and one day they're like this, and another day they're like that, and so I give the parents the skills and the tools that they need in order to figure out how to help their kids. And if we go back a little bit further, we can say, all kids are struggling, and the reason they struggle is because they don't have good problem-solving skills. And so what the parents' job is to do is to teach the kids how to solve their own problems. And, because what they'll do is they'll act out because they don't know what else to do. And so I'll teach the parents how to help their kids figure out, what else can I do when I get triggered by my little brother, or when I get triggered by the fact that I think something is unfair, or when I get triggered by the teacher who I know hates me, those kinds of situations. So I give the parents the skills and tools so that they can teach their kids.
That sounds great. It sounds like the word wellness is kind of coming to me also.
Okay.
That's sort of giving us the skills. I know it's true. Kids don't come with manuals,
Yeah.
and you can say, oh, I'll go out and read books on parenting, but we know that we don't so much. And I find that as a wellness nutrition coach, that everybody is better when they have somebody coaching them through it. Everybody's better when it's hands-on and with somebody with experience, and sounds like you have a lot of experience helping people work through these and some great strategies for them to be the best parent they can be.
Oh yeah, I've got some great strategies. And your point is exactly right. We all, honestly, we all kind of need a coach, don't we?
Yeah.
Because if you go to talk to your sister or your brother or your parents or your neighbor, I mean, there's going to be some element of judgment, and you're always going to be worried about, how are they thinking about me? They must think I'm a terrible parent. If you're out in the store and your kid has a hissy fit, you're like, oh my gosh, everybody in the store thinks that I'm the world's worst parent. And there's a lot of guilt and judgment that goes along with that. I'm here to say, hey, it is not your fault. You don't know how to handle this because no one's taught you. And even if they taught you for your first child, you don't know how to handle it with your second and your third child because they're different.
They're different.
So the idea is just to be able to give the parents a non-judgmental observer person that they can turn to for support when they need support. Like, for instance, I was talking to a friend, and a couple of years ago they were struggling with a teenager who had pretty bad anorexia. So that's not necessarily a situation where kid is acting out, that's a totally different situation. But I told her that I am now a parent coach, and she said, oh my gosh, where were you when we were dealing with anorexia? If I had known that, I would have called you right away, just because I needed support.
Right.
You know, obviously her daughter needed to work with a therapist because that was a serious issue. But the parent needed support, and this is the kind of thing that I can also offer, in addition to dealing with resistant or difficult children. So.
Thank you. You know, it's interesting to hear you say that. I think something that I hear people say a lot is, if the marriage is good or the relationship is good, it shouldn't be work. Right?
You know who's written about that actually is the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. And she have you read?
I haven't yet. No.
It's a great book, and she talks about how people have the this either fixed or flexible mindset, and the idea is, if it's supposed to be, it will be. That's the fixed mindset. And she talks about that in marriage as well as in like kind of personal success. And that's something I work on with kids too, is just because you fail doesn't mean that you're a bad person and you'll never be able to succeed. And parents need to be able to give their kids the sense that, oh no, failure is the way you learn. Yay, you failed. Cool. What are we going to do next? Whereas in schools, I'm a long-time educator, and I'm still complaining about this. In schools, if they fail once, that's it. Most of the time, they don't get another chance. Because maybe they'll get another chance to rewrite an essay or take one test during the semester or whatever it is. But generally speaking, if you fail, you fail. And in life, it doesn't work that way. You fail, you learn, you pick yourself up, and you go on. And I think the same thing is true in marriages, too. It's not fixed. But that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So, so Debbie, tell me, what can somebody expect, or what would be their expectation working with you? I know something that actually, a quote from, I think it was Clint Eastwood, said about parenting, and I always liked it, is what you put out, you're going to get back.
Okay.
And so I'm just wondering what kind of, if I'm talking to you, what can I expect to?
Well, a parent would come, and I do give a complimentary session to start out with, make sure that we're on the same page, and that that this is the right fit for us to be working together. And what I do is I ask them to envision what it is they really want to see. What do you picture? What would be the ideal thing and in your home life? What would this look like? And what are the obstacles getting in the way of that? And then what kind of a plan can we make? And I actually have a 5-step process, and it's cheerfully called the Pied Piper Parenting Model, because I'm also a semi-professional musician, and the idea behind it is that as a parent, you want your kid to follow you. I mean, you are the leader in your home, and your kid should follow you. And so I give parents tunes that they can play, strategies that they can try. And that's just kind of a fun play on my own background. But also I think it is a good picture.
And Debbie, we only have a few minutes left, but any tip you would like to?
Yes. So here's the big thing. I mean, there's a ton I could share, but I'll just give parents one really quick thing, and that is never try to have a conversation with your child when either you or your child is freaking out. If your child comes in and it's after curfew and you've been waiting up till 1 in the morning, you do not say to your child at that point, "Where were you? I've been waiting." You don't get into any of that. You look calmly at your child, you take a deep breath, and you say, "I'm glad you're home safely. We will discuss this tomorrow. Go to bed." End. And then the next day, when both of you are calm, then you sit down, and I have a procedure that you can go through that will help this not happen so much in the future. But you can even begin to have a rational conversation if that part of your brain is activated, because when the emotional part of your brain is freaking out, the logical part of your brain cannot speak loudly enough for either you or your child to hear. And if you come across to your child loudly and with emotion at that point, they will just, they're going to shut you off.
Shut down.
And that's it. That's it. So that's the quick tip for today.
I like it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. So if I want to get more information about either one of you, how do I do that?
Sure. So you can find me at youcanraisegreatkids.com.
Okay. And you can find me at connectagain.com. So CONNECTAGAIN.org.
.org. I was going to say, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's .org. So connectagain.org. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for being with here and talking with us today. Again, this is Linda Ty, and I'm here with Debbie Owen and Wendy Williams. Thanks very much, and see you soon.